This is my channel here, GMS Info Doc Channel 13. In case I ever get suspended off of, GMS Info Doc Channel 12. I'll be filming here on this channel because I had a strike for about a week on GMS Info Doc Channel 12. And I was filming here, and I guess not many people knew about it. I had sent it out to a few brothers. I forgot to send it to the elder apostle Tahar, so Salakia for that. So this is where I'll be at just in case anything happens to this channel. So with that, I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Yahawashi will overthrow E's altar. I wanted to put the whole name of E, but the way these devils operate, certain words, algorithms kind of set off alarms, and we're trying to keep these channels going as long as possible until the Lord shuts the whole shit down. So we have to curb our words a little bit, speaking, speaking what's the word I'm looking for? And metaphors and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Nevertheless, this lesson, I had a title written down on my phone, and it says Yahawashi will overthrow, E's altar, but E's whole name. And I was looking through the phone, doing some stuff, and I saw it. I said, you know what, that's a good title for a lesson to do. Now, earlier, when I was doing what I had to do, I was watching the brother Ayashimov's video here. He was live, called The Fall of Jericho, Victory Through Obedience. And the heavy thing about it is the Spirit had me do maybe about a week and a half ago, or so, maybe 2 weeks, on InfoDoc 12. I did a lesson dealing with Jericho and the parallels of Jericho and the 7 times going around blowing with the 7 horns or 7 trumpets, in parallel with America and the destruction of America, which shows you how the Spirit works, and show you how the Spirit operates. It brings out certain things in certain ways, through different brothers, to really cement the point home that this place is about to go down and about to be destroyed. Now, as I was listening to the brother's lesson, towards the end of the lesson, he played this documentary, which I was listening to part of it. And this one Edomite, because, Esau, some Edomites, they push the truths, to a certain degree. Some Edomites debunk, they're about debunking each other because they're trying to hide certain information, so on and so forth. But the one Edomite that was that's convinced that Jericho actually happened, because that's what Esau does. They try to put doubt in people's minds, going back to the serpent. He was saying that, which the scriptures say, that when Jericho was set up, right, and the Lord gave us the green light to go and take it over, the city was supposed to be totally destroyed. The people were supposed to be destroyed, and everything within the city was supposed to be burnt, right? Everything except for the silver, the gold, the brass, and the iron, because that was to be put into the treasury of the Lord, because that was going to be used later for the building of everything that needed to be built up, right? And then he mentioned about how everything was supposed to be burnt as an offering to the Lord. And when he said that, I was like, wow, which we know that already, but it was just like, it was like it sparked, an epiphany about those things had to be burnt up as an offering to the Lord, right? And let's get that, because there was another point that came to mind. This is Joshua 6:17, and the city shall be accursed. So that city was accursed and everything in it, except for Rahab and her family. So what do you do with an accursed thing? You have to burn it, right? Even it and all that are therein to the Lord. So it's an accursed thing unto the Lord. So the Lord wanted it to go up in a conflagration, which is a fancy way of saying fire. Only Rahab the harlot shall live. All right. So Rahab the harlot lived, and her family, because of what she did. And by the way, for those of you that have a problem with harlots, one of the forefathers through the lineage of Yahawashi came through the harlot Rahab. So how do you like them apples? Anyway, she and all that are with her in her house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing. Because I know it's going to be tempting, because they're going to have all different type of, of goodies. They remember, this is a well-fortified city. They were well established. They had riches. So I know you're going to be tempted, but don't take anything, because that's an accursed thing. The Most High put curses on it. All right, keep that in mind. Lest you make yourself accursed, just like that accursed thing. Because what was the judgment for that accursed thing? To be burnt totally with fire. All right, I know some of you brothers are following along. So if you take it, you're going to be accursed yourself. When you take of the accursed thing and make the camp of Israel a curse and trouble it. Okay. Now, let's jump from there to the 22nd verse. It says, but Joshua had said unto the two men that had spied out the country, go into the harlot's house and bring out thence the woman and all that she hath, as you swear unto her. And the young men that were spies went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brethren and all that she had. And they brought out all her kindred and left them without the camp of Israel. And they burned the city with fire and all that was therein, because this was a offering unto the Lord, like the Edomite said. Which was heavy. I was like, wow, that's heavy, because the Lord wanted it as an offering to him. Everything in there except for what he set aside for himself to put into the treasury of the Lord. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and of iron, they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. And Joshua saved Rahab the harlot alive, and her father's household, and all that she had, and she dwelleth in Israel even unto this day, because she hid the messengers which Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. All right. Now that these things were set up in judgment to be accursed, the Lord said, don't take anything, because you will be accursed. So what happened? This simple-minded individual by the name of Achan, he was aching for a bruising. He went and took a Babylonian garment. He took some gold. He took some silver. And I'm not sure if he took anything else, but those are like three of the main things. So what did he do? He put a curse on himself. Because those things, well, actually some of it was supposed to be given to the Lord in his treasury, but some of those things were a curse, and they were supposed to be burnt as an offering to the Lord. So since he took it, what happened? He became accursed with it. So the Lord had to destroy what he took, because it was supposed to be an offering. It was supposed to be burnt. And since he became cursed with it, him and his family and everything that they had got burnt along with it, because it was supposed to be burnt at this time when they took down Jericho. So when we go to Joshua 7:15, right, it says, and it shall be that he that is taken with the accursed thing shall be burnt with fire. Why? Because he had to be burnt with fire, because the thing that he took was dedicated to the Lord to be burnt. And since he took it, he took that curse upon himself. Therefore, he had to be burnt with it. He and all that he hath, because he hath transgressed the covenant of the Lord, and because he hath wrought folly in Israel. And then what happened? Israel started getting jacked up when they went to war, and they were like, figured out what the hell is going on. We did what the Lord said to do. Why are we getting jacked up? But it was because of this individual right here. So now we jump to the 25th verse. It says, and Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned them with stones and burnt them with fire. And they had stoned, after they had stoned them with stones. So they burnt them with fire along with all that he had. The stuff that was supposed to be burnt in Jericho, plus him and his family and everything that they had, their cattle, everything. Because he took that curse upon himself. Because Jericho was set up as an altar to the Most High to be burnt up as an offering to him. It's just like America is set up as, Babylon the Great is set up as an altar that the Lord is going to use to destroy this place. And, you hear the Elder Apostle Tar been saying that as of late, that America, Babylon the Great, is that great altar. And it's going to be burnt. And anyone that partakes or takes any of the accursed thing that is supposed to be destroyed will be destroyed along with it. The same way Achan and his family and all that he had was destroyed. So when Yahawashi comes, Yahawashi will overthrow E's altar. Because it's been accursed from birth. All right, let's go real quick. I got a couple of precepts. The main one is in Isaiah 34, but I want to get this real quick. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 7. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Because everything has a time and a chance and a season for everything, right? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, because these were the two main characters of this movie, the protagonist and the antagonist. And I always used to get them mixed up, but now I got it. Antagonist is anti, right? So the antagonist is the bad guy. Protagonist or pro is for. So antagonist is against, protagonist is for. So the antagonist is the bad guy, the protagonist is the good guy. All right? That's why word association helps. All right? It says, And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Why? Because that is a representation that Jacob would eventually bring Esau down. Because in order for Jacob to be on the throne, Esau had to go down. Okay? It says, For Esau is the end of the world. And when you look up this word world in here, it's from the Latin seculi, which means a period of time. Now, you can have an everlasting, eon or age, or you can have an age that depends on the rulership of a particular individual or the time running for a particular thing. There's different ages, okay? For Esau is the end of the age or the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. That's how we know that the devil that's in power today, these so-called white people, are the Edomites, because they're ruling at the end of the world. And the ones that are ruling are the higher-ups among them, the Amalekites, but they are also Edomites also. The rest of these, these devils, if they happen not to be Jakes or other nations, because you have, Edomite looking of the other nations, because Esau mixed himself among all nations too. All right, but that goes into a whole total different lesson. So from there, let's stay in the Apocrypha. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter, and let's go to the 26th verse. All right, 2nd Ezra 4:26. It says, Then answered he me and said, The more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel, for the world hasteth fast to pass away. And this is why we're supposed to be hastening the day of the Lord, because the world hasteth fast to pass away. Because it has to go. The earth cannot take this abuse. It's just like the immune system. The immune system can only take so much abuse, and after that, it just gives up because it's overwhelmed. So the earth is overwhelmed with this devil's bullshit, and the people are in mourning. All kind of aches and pains, and and just shit that just make you feel like you're gonna want to drop dead because of all the toxins. So this devil he's a toxin. He's toxic. He's a parasite. He lives off of destruction and misery of others. So he has to go down. It says, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. Why? Because we're going through these things, suffering the straight, and we're doing the best that we can. We know we're suffering for our iniquities, but we're doing, in comparison to the people of the world, we're doing a better work than they are. We serve a better purpose than they do, because we're serving the purpose of Yahawashi, even though they are too on the left-hand side. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. It says, but as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, it has been planted, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. So this is what we're waiting for. The inhabitants of this world, of this earth, which are the Edomites, have not fallen yet. They're still ruling. Even though they're losing their grip, here and there, they haven't fallen fully. It says, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, meaning this devil taken out, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay, because the Lord is going to turn it right side up, and he's going to destroy that vessel that was used to destroy the earth, which are the Edomites. It says, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, that means this devil's heaven, his rulership, then cannot it come that is sown with good, which is what? The kingdom. This is why the Apostle Peter was saying that we hasten the day, because the Lord promised that this wicked world would pass, it would be melted with fervent heat, and then the righteous kingdom will be established once again upon the better principles of the Bible. In righteousness. So now let's jump down to the 36th verse. And it says, and unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he hath weighed the world in the balance. So what does it mean by the grain of, it says, even when the number of the seeds is filled in you, meaning this word is sealed inside of the elect. For he hath weighed the world in the balance, right? So if he weighed the world in the balance, every individual out here, every soul out here is being weighed according to what? According to the word of this book, according to the book of life. They're being measured out by the book of life, and most don't pass the test, and you have those that pass the test because they are part of the elect. It says, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the time. So everything has a set time of rulership. And he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. And we're coming now to the point where the said measure is being fulfilled. This is why we see the things happening the way that they're happening. Because it's time for this devil to go down. And the Lord has a great sacrifice that he's going to bring upon these devils. All right. Yeah, this is a good precept. And shalom, to the sincere out there, Akim and Akwath. Psalms 118:27. The Most High is the Lord, which hath showed us light. Yeah, which is this truth. Bind the sacrifice with cords, even unto the horns of the altar. And the Lord is about to bind the sacrifice, of Esau's horn through cords, which he's actually pulling Esau by puppet strings. The puppeteer is the Most High. Esau is the puppet. And he's going to sacrifice them on the horns of the altar, which the horns of the altar would be here in so-called America, which is Babylon the Great, which is the main sacrifice that's going to go down. Now let's go from there to the book of 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, and the 24th verse. It says, I'll start at 23. But every man in his own order, Yahawashi, the first fruits after that day that are Yahawashi's at his coming. Yeah, because Yahawashi is coming to gather his elect, because his kingdom is about to be established, and his elect, the men of the elect, there's certain ones of them that are going to be in a governmental position to rule and govern over everybody else. It says, then cometh the end, which is what we're waiting for. Esau is the end of the world. When he shall have delivered up the kingdom to the Most High. Yeah, because this place has to be changed. That's why in the prayer that Yahawashi said, he said what? He said, let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Because there's going to be a transfer of spirits, because the frequency of this world is off. It's on a total different vibration than of righteousness. That's why when you try to do things that are right, we make ourselves a prey, like the scriptures say. People look at us funny because their mind is geared and they're wired to do wicked things and to love doing wicked things. You see? It says, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power, because unless this devil goes down, the kingdom cannot be established. So if the thing that is sown be not overturned, then the kingdom cannot come. So Esau is hindering the progress. Even though he's a part of, the Lord's movie, they're hindering the progress of the kingdom, which they're not really, but I mean, I'm just saying it indirectly, but they really not, but they are, because they're in the way. So they have to be moved out of the way in order for the kingdom to be established. Okay? So for he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. And that's right. So that's what we're waiting for, Yahawashi, to crack them clouds and bring the kingdom and the destruction to this devil. All right? Now let's go from there to Isaiah 34. This is the main actor, for lack of better words, of the movie. So the Most High's wrath against nations. And what is the main nation that the Most High has his wrath against? Esau. Esau have I hated. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So it says, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. So pretty much, this is a message to the world, and the Lord is making his message known through his prophets. And the message is that there's going to be a destruction coming, because the world has turned toxic, polluted, wicked. And all we have to do is go back just during the time of Noah. The toxicity of the world back then that caused it to be destroyed by water, by that flood. So now in this time, here it is. Back then the Most High destroyed the place because it was wicked, but now the Lord said, no, it's okay. Let them do what they got to do. I know they're destroying my earth, but let them be. No, man. And that's why the fury of his indignation is going to be felt when the missiles start to hit this place. That's why he said, what if the Most High, willing to show his power, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction? Because you don't think the Most High wants to destroy this place? He said that his eyes they're purer than to behold iniquity. So if that's the case, the Lord wants to take this place out so that when he establishes righteousness upon the earth, he can be among us and not have to worry. Not that he's worried, but not have to look at the wickedness that's going on in this world. The whole world lieth in wickedness. It says, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. And that's why he's gathering all those armies over there in the Middle East. And his fury upon all their armies, because these are the angels of Esau and the nations. Their armies, their planes, their everything that they have for their protection. Because an angel is what? Set there for protection, to be a messenger. Their angel would be their protection. That's why King David said, who will lead me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? It wasn't talking about back then, because him and not Joshua, him and Joab decimated the Edomites that were in Edom at that time. So there wasn't no threat back then. Why did he say that? Because King David is a prophet, and he foresaw in the future that they would be in great power, because they were given the power of the sword, the blessing of the sword. So he saw them in this great power. That's why he said, who will lead me into Edom? So it says, he hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter, because this is what's going to happen at the end of the movie. As the credits are rolling, the slaughter. The Lord's going to cause a slaughterhouse to happen in this world. So America is going to be that slaughterhouse. It's going to be the altar upon which the Most High is going to sacrifice, this Esau's whole kingdom. And the people that are left on the soils of America, they're going to be the offering for the Lord. Because it said that once Achan, matter of fact, I don't have that anymore. But once Achan and his family and everything that they had was destroyed, it said it appeased the anger of the Lord. So when the Lord destroys this place, America being that great altar, that sacrifice, that offering is going to appease the anger of the Lord. And that's what we're looking for. So their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, because there's going to be a lot of dead bodies. That's why one of the very first jobs for you international banking families out there, you old decrepit bastards that are still around after the missiles hit, you're going to go around, you're going to be digging up you're going to be digging holes to put these dead bodies in there. How about that? And the mountains shall be melted with their blood, meaning their governments are going to be melted by their blood. There's going to be a lot of destruction. All right. In the book of Zephaniah 1:18, it speaks about the men's blood is going to be poured out like dung. Then in Revelation, the 14th chapter, it speaks about, the blood coming up to the horse's bridle, meaning it's not going to come up there, but it's going to be so much blood. That was what the apostle John equated it to. It says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, meaning what? All of these military that are in the air, whether it's a drone, whether it's a fighter jet, whatever it may be that's flying up there in the air when Yahawashi comes back, they're going to be all dissolved. This goes hand in hand with 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. It goes hand in hand with Revelation, the 12th chapter. It goes hand in hand with Revelation, the 19th chapter, and others. It says, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. And that's going to be from what Esau calls the mushroom clouds. You could type in mushroom clouds. You could type in nuclear destruction or whatever the case may be. And you'll see how the heavens are rolled together like a scroll. You see the blast going up, and you see, the clouds and stuff being turned in on each other as if they were being rolled together like a scroll. And this is why, the apostle John and also Isaiah described it as such, because this is the closest thing that they could, describe that would make sense to somebody, because they didn't know about mushroom clouds. They didn't know about the blast of the ICBM nuclear missile. They didn't know those terminologies back then. And all their hosts shall fall down, because they're going to be in the air, and they're going to fall when Yahawashi comes and bust them up real nice. Isaiah 14:12. And this is where understanding comes into play. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Why? Because there's going to be a war in heaven, and Yahawashi and the angels are going to kick Esau in the ass, and their military, Moab and all their military, and all those planes and everything is going to come crashing down. Because Yahawashi said when he gives that blast, everything's gonna be nothing but dust and smell of smoke. So they're gonna be obliterated. They're gonna go into oblivion. It's gonna be nothing. It's gonna be easy work for the Lord when he comes back. It says, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground? So how are you Illuminati, you light bearers of this world that's playing, God behind the scenes, a wicked God behind the scenes, or a demon that you are behind the scenes? How are you cut down to the ground? Which did is weaken the nations. And who weakened the nations? These devils did. This is why you have so many what's the word I'm looking for? So many markets around the world, financial markets around the world, going through chaos. That's why you have so many nations around the world that are suffering They're suffering poverty because this devil went in there and exploited their land and took their resources, and left them nothing. Promised them the world, but then left them hanging like he always does. This devil doesn't keep his word. He's never kept his word. And he will never keep his word because he's the devil. Why would you trust the devil? You know he's a snake, bitch. Inside joke. All right, let's go back. Isaiah 34. Let's read 4 again. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all the hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Right. Because the missiles are coming in an arch fashion. Because that's how they go from one end of the earth to the other. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. And what does it mean his sword shall be bathed in heaven? Meaning the heaven is talking about up in the heavens. When he comes to destroy Esau and his military host with the other nations. But they're ahead of it because they got control of the whole world. There's it's no coincidence that if you want to fly anywhere in the world, you have to learn English. The aviation language or aeronautic language, I forget how the term goes, is English. Everybody in the world has to know English if they want to fly. Why is that? Because the so-called white men, the Edomites, are ruling. Why isn't it that the world has to learn Mandarin to fly? Or Cantonese to fly? Or Arabic to fly? Or some Hamitic language to fly? How come they don't have to learn the Elamite language? Or any other people's language, Spanish or anything like that? Because the language of the earth, the people that are ruling the earth are the Edomites that speak English primarily. All right? For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, which is a Greek way of saying Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Why? Because just like Jericho was destroyed, because they were accursed, Esau is going to be destroyed because he's accursed. He is the thing that is set aside because they were tailor-made for this destruction. That was the main offering. That was the main goat that was being offered on the altar. So America being the altar, Babylon the Great, Esau is the main course, so to speak, the main sacrifice. And anyone else that gets caught in the swords of America, they're here because they're trying to be and trying to get what Esau has. So they're drinking of the wine of the cup of their harlot. So they're going to drink of the wine of the cup of the Most High's fierce anger. Because they're going to be accursed just like that accursed thing. That's why you celebrities, you different entertainers out there, you singers, you rappers or whatever that have took that bag and sold your soul, you're going to receive the same judgment as this devil. Because you received of the accursed thing. That's why you got to drink blood with semen. That's why you got to eat shit. That's why you got to get popped up your ass. That's why women have to be freaks and do all kind of manner of freakism. That's why you have to do them homosexual acts and all of that. Why? Because you sold your soul. So now you're at the whim of this devil. So whatever he needs you to do and wants you to do, you got to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you're going to receive the same destruction that he's going to receive. But the only thing is the ones that are higher up, that are running the world, they're not going to get destruction like that. They're going to survive this thing. And then they're going to go into captivity. And then after 1,000 years, they'll receive their warm, hot blaze, that they're going to get. Or that hot conflagration of Edomites. What's on the Barbie? Edomites. So they're the accursed thing now. So America spiritually would be like Jericho. And Jericho, when they went around the city the seventh day, they went around the city 7 times and blew with the trumpets. That was the 7 trumpets, the 7 angels, the 7, the end. Because the number 7 represents completion. It says, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats. What does that represent? That represents their military. It also represents the people that are going to be a part of this great destruction. It says, with the fat of kidneys of rams, for the Lord hath a what? A sacrifice in Basra. Let's look up this word sacrifice. The Lord has a sacrifice in Basra. Basra is another name for America. It was one of Esau's capitals back in the days. Zabak, which you have the word Zabak, which is sacrifice, and you have the word Mazabak, which I believe Mazabak is altar, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Sacrifice of righteousness, sacrifice of strife, sacrifices to dead things, the covenant sacrifice, the Passover, annual sacrifice, thank offering. So let's look up the word sacrifice just to get more on the word sacrifice, which the word sacri is sacred and feist is to do or to make holy. The word sacrifice simply means to make holy. An act of slaughtering an animal or person or surrendering a possession as an offering to the Most High or to a divine or supernatural figure. Offer or kill as a religious sacrifice. All right, so let's go back. So let's read this again. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats. Salaki, just bear with me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, Salakia about that. Salakia, let's read this again. It said, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and of goats, with the fat of kidneys and rams. For the Lord hath the sacrifice in Basra and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, which is a Greek way of saying Esau or Edom. Let's look up this word slaughter. The word there is tabach. Tabach. Slaughter, slaughtering, animal. So this is going to be a slaughterhouse. Slaughtering, slaughter of animals, slaughter figuratively. All right. So America will be that great altar. And the prelude to this would have been Jericho. You know, I mean, you also had Sodom and Gomorrah, which was more of an example of how it's going to be. But Jericho also represented too, because Jericho was burnt down too. You know, and it was consecrated. It was accursed, just like America, which is Babylon the Great, is accursed. It says, and the unicorn shall come down with them, which is dealing with the satellites. It says, and the bullocks with the bulls, that's dealing with the military, the people here, you know, so on and so forth. And their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. And this is the point, you know, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. There's been a controversy that the Lord has with these devils because of what they did to us. So that's what the Lord is bringing upon these devils, the controversy of Zion. Let's look up that word controversy. I know we've done it before. The word there is rayab, strife, controversy, dispute. And I was going to say that the word rayab sounds like a dispute, you know, like a disagreement, like an argument. You know, why are you doing it? Because. Well, why? Because. So it says strife, quarrel, dispute, controversy, case at law. And you're being judged. The case at law is that you put your hands on the people of the Lord, and now you got to pay for it. And this is why they're scrambling. These wacky-tacky Christians are scrambling and saying that Deuteronomy 28 is not talking about the Israelites, you know, as far as so-called Negroes going through them different curses, because they're trying to get away from having to pay. But the case at law, let's say hypothetically that's the case is that, okay, that doesn't fit us, right? Which it does, but let's say hypothetically it doesn't. What do the scriptures say about putting somebody into slavery? It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall what? Shall go into captivity. So do you still have to pay for putting the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians into captivity, into slavery? Because that's what the Bible says. So let's just put the case, okay, well, we're not the Israelites, whatever, which we know we are, but let's say just for argument's sake, do you still have to pay for bringing the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians into slavery, for stealing their land, raping them, and all of that? Do you have to pay for that? You know? Well, anyway, it's a controversy, case at law. And you've been judged and you've been found wanting. You know, right now the Lord has us going through the sentencing stage. A sentence. Let's see what sentencing stage says. Let's see what it says. Let's see. Sentencing stage, it says, updated July 17, 2019. One of the final stages of a criminal trial is sentencing. If you have reached the sentencing stage, that means that you have pleaded guilty or were found guilty by a jury or a judge. If you are guilty of a crime, you will face punishment for your actions, and that is usually sentencing by a judge. So who's the ultimate judge? The Most High, the one who you covered up his face, and his son's face, and the angels' faces, and the Israelites' faces. So you're going through the sentencing stage right now. Next step after the sentencing stage is what? To actually go through the punishment that is prescribed to you for what you did. And the evidence is overwhelming. Overwhelming. So let's read that again, because I like the way that rolled. Updated July 17, 2019. One of the final stages of a criminal trial is sentencing, because you've been brought through a criminal trial. Let's go to the book of 2 Thessalonians, as the high priest used to say it. High priest Yaquab and high priest Ariel. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed. What's that? You're being revealed as far as what you have done. The evidence has been brought out. And the evidence is overwhelming that you're guilty. And that's why, let's go to Nahum. Because you don't want to pay. You don't want to, you're not going to judge yourself. So that's okay. Because the Lord is going to judge you. Nahum 1 and 3. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power and will not at all acquit the wicked. So the Lord ain't going to acquit you. You're not going to receive clemency. You're not going to receive a pardon. Salakia. You're going to get full payment. The third degree. The book is going to be thrown at you. Goddamn devils. So the word there is nakwa. And that was for the word acquit. To be empty, be clear, be pure, be free, be innocent, be desolate, be cut off. So you're not going to receive any of those things. You're going to receive full payment. That's why it says, howl for your miseries that shall be done upon you. Because the hell that's going to come upon you is going to be legendary. It's going to be worse than medieval. It's going to be worse than anything that any human have ever experienced in their lifetime. Just wait. And that's pretty much the point. So the Lord is not gonna acquit the wicked. And there was a brother, put this up. Nope, Salakia. That's a good one too. But 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6, seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And that's what and the Apostle Paul even said, rest in this. Comfort one another in this. That although you're going through what you're going through, there is going to be, retribution. The Lord will pay back our enemies. Even the unjust judge said that. And shall not the Lord avenge his own elect, which cry unto him day and night, though he bear long with them? Let me read this other precept. This is a good one. Obadiah 1 and 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. That's right, the big payback. And there was more on that. Obadiah 1:15. The 16th verse speaks about how when you go into captivity, you're going to be as though you had not been. Because a slave has no rights. The only right a slave has is basically just to be, a nothing. So that's how you're going to be. You're going to be as though you had not been, because you're not going to have the rights. Just like you treated us like shit. You made us, less than a man. Nothing that we said mattered. We were just niggas, spooks, spicks, wetbacks, and all of that stuff. Well, guess what? That's going to come on you. You're going to be the nobodies of the earth. Your woman is going to look down upon you like you're a loser. And you've done this on purpose. So you're going to get paid back. Bottom line. Now let's go back to 2 Thessalonians. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. So what is this? This is called discovery. This is called discovery. All right. Let's see what this says here. Discovery. Law. Discovery and law of common law jurisdiction is a pre-trial procedure in a lawsuit in which each party, through the law of civil procedure, can obtain evidence from the other party or parties by means of discovery devices such as interrogatories, requests for production of documents. You also have something called, it's going to say it, requests for admissions and depositions. Discovery can be obtained from non-party using subpoenas. When a discovery request is objected to, the requesting party may seek the assistance of the court by filing a motion to compel discovery. So we're not asking you for anything. We're not asking you to produce or to give over and hand over evidence. The Lord is bringing it out all over the place. Everything that you've done. There was a precept that came to mind. I should have got it. Because the Most High is making everything plain. He's the one that's bringing out the dirt on you, because you're not going to bring out the dirt. Damn, I wish I remember that scripture. There's a precept that just came to mind. Discovery can be obtained. Parties and subpoenas when the discovery request is objected to. Seek the assistance of the court by filing a motion to compel. Oh, Barakatah Yahawashi Yahawashi. Right. Dig it. Oh, yeah. All right. Wisdom of Solomon 5. Because the Lord is the one that's putting the Spirit on us to speak out here. Matter of fact, let me bring this over here because I want to read this again in 2 Thessalonians. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Why is that? Because the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of life entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So there's not a goddamn thing that you could do to get around it, because the Lord is bringing it out on you. And everything is being laid out on the table. So it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And now we're coming at the end, which is the sentencing stage. The sentencing stage is being set. Let's read this again. Updated July 17, 2019. One of the final stages of a criminal trial is sentencing. And you've been going through a criminal trial ever since the men of the Lord started speaking out in these streets. You've been being brought up on charges that you've been evading forever. And that doesn't go away. Because you have something in law that's called, damn, what's it, that term? Statute of limitations. But for murder, you don't have statute of limitation. Guess what? There's no statute of limitation with the Most High on the crimes that you committed. That's why it says, how for the miseries that shall come upon you, the great miseries. It says, if you have reached the sentencing stage, which you have, Esau, that means that you have pleaded guilty or were found guilty by a jury or judge. And you have been found guilty by a jury, and the judge is the Most High. We are the jury. And we're giving you and we're telling you what you've done. It says, if you are guilty of a crime, you will face punishment for your actions. And that is usually sentencing by a judge. And the ultimate sentencing is by the judge. That's why the Lord revealed you through the spirit of the mouth of his prophets and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Because this is going to be the beginning stages of your sentencing, which is that destruction. Then after that, after your whole system is collapsed by the Lord, then you're going to go into captivity. That's going to begin the next phase of your sentencing for a period of 1,000 years. How do you like them apples? All right. So going back to Isaiah 34 and 9, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. Why? Because of the missiles. There's different ways and different allegories that the Lord uses, different symbolisms that the Lord uses to tell the same story over and over and over and over and over again about the destruction of these devils. Whenever you hear about the destruction, whenever you hear about the end of the world, you always somehow, some way have Esau or Edomites mixed in there, mentioned in there. Why? Because Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You are the individual that's going to be judged. You are the most wanted criminal on the planet Earth. And you have been a fugitive and a vagabond, as the Lord told Cain that he would be. Now Cain and his descendants, which are the sons of the wicked, died during the flood, but they came back through a man named Esau and his people. And you're continuing in the footsteps of your forefathers. So we're coming to the very end now. You know, you're about to be dragged into court in chains. Because the very first thing that will happen after the destruction is the Spirit's going to have us find you wherever you at, wherever them bunkers are at, pull you out of those bunkers, slap chains on you, and put you to work. Oh, you're going to catch some hell, boy. You done made the world miserable. I mean, you done did things to the world, to the people of the world that are unthinkable, unimaginable. That only through the grace of the Heavenly Father someone could endure. But now it's your turn. You're up next, Esau, to catch hell. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled. See, you spoiled everybody. You stole from everybody. Nobody stole from you. When you came to this land, Gad was even willing to give you portions of land. He said, look, there's so much land. We're willing to share with you. Why do you have to take ours? Because you're greedy. You can never have enough. You're like hell. You can never be. You're like the grave. The grave can never have enough people. That's why what you call it, a mortuary, morgue, whatever the hell that is, they'll never go out of business. Because there's always going to be somebody to die, somebody to bury. That's how you are with your greed. And dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. Let's see what this word treacherously means. Bagad, to act treacherously, deceitfully, deal treacherously. And boy, if this doesn't fit you, you know, let's see if we could just look it up online. Treacherous is not a good word. Guilty of or involving betrayal or deception. And that's what you have been. Because what was the very first thing that you did when you came out of that prison sentence? Huh? Misa White man? Revelation 20:7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. And shall what? And shall go out to what? To deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. And that's what you've done. That's where the whole world believes that the Heavenly Father and the Son and the angels are so-called white. And if you dare question that, you're out of your mind. All right, so let's go back. Let's read this again. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. All right? And this is why it says this. You know, because you've heaped to yourself treasures for the last days. Because you thought that you were going to be put in a position, in a nice position to enjoy the rest of your life and with your demonic brood and just keep on doing what you're doing. You never thought that the Heavenly Father would catch up to you. You never thought that your crimes would catch up to you. You was like that drug dealer that worked for the cops, that worked for the feds or for the CIA, that thought he would never get caught, thought that he was invincible, and then eventually they kicked him to the curb. It says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Because you got a whole lot to pay for, man. There's been a lot of suffering of the world because of your treachery, because of your spoiling, because of your deceitfulness, because of your greed, because of your actions, because of your pollutions, because of your toxins, because of your parasitical ways, your serpent, damn devil, dragon, demon, from the lowest parts of hell, even though there ain't no hell, you know? You are the vagabond and the scum of the earth, you know? Get out of here, scum, faggot, vagabond. Inside joke. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Why? Because of the way you got them. So if you go this way, the Lord got you. If you go that way, the Lord got you. If you try to do anything else, he'll drop a dime on you, man. Inside joke again. says your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. So you're going to be witnessed against. The way you got those riches, oh, you loved them. You know, you could never have enough. You were greedy. You just, made people's lives miserable, But now it's time to pay. You had your time to play. Now it's time to pay. And there's going to be a witness against you. This is why the Lord is bringing all these charges out against you. Because you're going through what? Huh? What's this? The sentencing stage. If you have reached the sentencing stage, that means that you have pleaded guilty or were found guilty. You were found guilty because you didn't hold yourself guilty. You didn't plead guilty because you will not hold yourself guilty. Hold up. Hold it now. Zechariah 14. I'm sorry, not 14. Zechariah 11. Zechariah 11 and 5. Whose possessors slay them and what? And hold themselves not guilty. But the Lord said he will not acquit the wicked. This is why you're going through your sentencing stage right now. It says that means that you have pleaded guilty or were found guilty by a jury or judge. If you are guilty of a crime, you will face punishment for your actions, and that is usually sentencing by a judge. And that's where the ultimate judge, the Most High Yahweh, is going to tear your ass up. And it's already, let it be written, so let it be done. And it's already written, and you're going through the sentencing stage, and it's about to be done. That's why Isaiah 34 is talking about this great sacrifice that the Lord got in Basra. Because America will be that altar. Babylon the Great will be that altar. Whereby he pours all his fury and his anger upon you devils. To take you out. And then after that begins the next phase. Because the Lord's going to take it to the next phase, baby. So back in Isaiah 34:10, and it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go off forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. Because the smoke here is going to burn for a long time. You got to remember, you got 5,000 square miles of land. From east to west, from north to south. 3,000 from east to west and 2,000 from north to south. And everything that's in between, all of that's going to burn. You got humans, you got animals, you got trees, you got, natural resources, you got buildings, you got houses, you got all different type of, coal and natural gas, propane, you name it. All kind of stuff that's going to be here when the missiles hit and the fire from the chariots hit. So this place is going to burn for a very long time, and it shall never ever be inhabited ever again. The only thing that will inhabit this after the smoke clears will be desert creatures, unclean birds, But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it, the owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. Why? Because right now, when one state ends and another one begins. You know where Disney World is. You know where the fun house is. You know where the different clubs are. You know where the different restaurants are. You know where the different governmental buildings are. If you go to Washington, D.C., you have the Washington Monument. You have Capitol Hill. You got Capitol, whatever, you got all them different buildings all over the place. You got different monumental places. You have parks, But when the Lord brings that destruction, it's going to be the lines of confusion and the stones of emptiness, because everything is going to be leveled out. You're not going to know where anything was, because it's going to be totally annihilated. They shall call to the nobles thereof to the kingdom. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom. That means your senators, your mayors, your presidents, your vice presidents, your different, military generals and all of that. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there. And all her princes shall be nothing. Why? Because you're going to be wiped out. And thorns shall come up in her palaces. In other words, where your palace would have been, you're going to have thorns and stuff growing there. Desert desert flowers or whatever, whatever grows in the desert. Just nothingness. Because there ain't going to be no flowers. It's like nothingness. Nettles and brambles and the fortresses thereof. Your different military bases. They ain't going to be there. And it shall be in habitation of what? Dragons. That's dealing with these unclean animals. And a court for owls. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island. And the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there and find for herself a place of rest. There shall the great owl make her nest and lay and hatch and gather under her shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, every one with her mate. That's right. And this is what's all this? From verse 1 to verse 15, what is this? What is this called? It's called prophecy. These are prophecies from verse 1 all the way down. Prophecies. That's why it says, verse 16, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read, no one of these shall fail. None of these prophecies that are written in the whole book and in this chapter here are going to fail. None shall want her mate. You can't make this book with anything else. For my mouth it had commanded, and the Spirit had gathered them, because the Most High already gave the word. We have a more sure word of prophecy. And he hath cast a lot for them, meaning for the prophets, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line, because each prophet got a certain portion of the Spirit. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation shall they dwell therein. So there's not going to be anything here in America, but the prophets are going to receive these things. They're going to be the ones that's going to be speaking it in these times, according to the proportion of faith and the different lines that were given to them. The prophets of Yahawashi are going to be the ones that's going to be bringing the sentencing of the Lord before the Lord actually brings the judgment. And you are guilty as charged. So prepare for your punishment, you goddamn devils. All right? So with that, I pray that your brothers and your few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say Shalom. This has been Yahawashi will overthrow E's altar. Shalom.